Okay then. Thank you, Vicar. That's the Vicar. I'm well in with him. But look, you see the 4 pyramids? Look, it's 4 square. Look, see? But look at this. Look, see the circle, square, circle, and you've got 6, 6, 6. I have to be quick in here because then they're going to do a sermon. It's a beautiful church. Look, beautiful. Oh, I mean, look at that. Look at that. You know what I mean? But the important thing there, though, like I said at the front, oh, let me come back, is the circle, the square, the circle, and then in the circle that you've got 6, 6, 6. You see what I mean? But it's 4 square. That's what it's all about, my profane friends. There, you know, look, you know what that is. You know exactly what that is. I've shown you many a time. 4 pyramids. Oh, baby. Look, all around there you see the kings, look, and the queens with the heraldry, look, their shields. See, they're all in on it. The kings, the queens, the lords, the dukes, the earls. I mean, look, each family, see the fleur de pis on the shield? See? And you've got the angels above that look after them, another family. See? Again, right in the top, look, there's circles. See it? The circles within the pyramids, look, you see? Each one is different, it's still the same. Look, you see it, look? You see the 6 sides, 6 pyramids, 6 points, look. See it? I don't know if you can see it. Oh, my profane friends, look. You see that J? See? And what it is, it's all Masonic, of course, you know what I mean? And each light is 3 great lights in Freemasonry. Look, you see the 3 great lights, then you got your 4 pyramids. Look, you got your circle and the square. Oh, here, look, you see, it's a circle, it's a square, and it's 4 pyramids, 4 square. I've done this church before anyway, so I'm going to leave because they're doing a sermon. Look, and I just wanted to be quick in here just to show and prove the point. Again, look up there, look, see it, look, in each one, look. They have their symbolism, but it all means 6, 6, 6. See, there he is. See what I mean? It's all built into everything. Look, the floors. Look, you see it? Look, it's all built into everything. They cannot not build into it. Look, see, look, 3, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3, the 6 points, 3 windows, 6, 6, 6. It's the Blue Lodge. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go though. I can't stay because they're. But see the heraldry on there. Look. See the shields. Look, the shields. That's the families. But I'm going to leave because he's doing a sermon and it's not fair. There's a couple of vicars there. Anyway, have a good day. Ooh, let me get out because I don't want to, you know, and there's the Knights Templar cross, look, on the doors. See? They're actually staffs, if you notice what the Romans had, look. See? Which is nice. You know. That's all heraldry, look. There's the heraldry of it, look. Triple door cross, look. Fucking baby. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. It's all hidden in plain light, you know. Oh, I think they're kicking everyone out anyway, do you know what I mean? Right, here's the sun and the moon, look. Oh, baby. Then you got your, oh, baby, well dominationable. And if you notice, it's all that obelisks again, you know. Like I said, every church is ruled and dominated by the crown. The royals, you know what I mean? 3 windows, look. 3 windows, obviously that one's 6. Because there's all 6s, 9s, and all of that, you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. It's all about being perverse, decimating and desecrating the churches, you know? Again, you know, Arthur Conan Doyle, oh, I just fucking asked it. Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes is there, look. See, even though he didn't pertain to no Freemasonry, he did. His brother was, Mycroft, I think. he was in the lodge in the special clubs, blah blah blah. But that's why he knew so much, you see. And then across there, look, God, they've even put the obelisks. Look at that big old thing with a spike. You know what I mean? But look at the bar. Look, you see it? Look, it's all 4 square. You see the 4 squares? Look, 4 square. Oh, wonderful. But here, Arthur Conan Doyle, the pub. Yeah. Now I deduce there's a lot of Freemasonry going on in here. See, there he is. Look. Again, Freemasons honouring themselves. There he is, look, the Arthur Conan Doyle. And again, here we go, the Tan Lodge. Look, he must have been in the Tan Lodge, in the Red Lodge. You know what I mean? Which is quite good. Oh, sorry. I deduced that you're now getting pissed.
No worries.
Yeah, you know that. I'm a bit of a Sherlock Holmes freak, you know what I mean? He's going, what? Let's have a look, though. Just your normal standard pub. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's quite good. I like it. Only 2 seats there. Okay. I'm a Sherlock Holmes fan, you know. Yeah. I'm a Sherlock Holmes fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a bit of deductions, yeah? I deduct that you're now getting pissed. Good night. Have a great day. You, baby. But yeah, they're laughing. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, Sherlock Holmes, I've read all these stories, you know, most of the books, everything you can ever think of. But you see all this down here, look, they own all these trucks as well, all the wealth, yeah, everything you see, all these churches, look, you see it, look, all this is Masonic wealth, the whole lot, they own it all the shops, they own everything you see. But they'll plead poverty that they own nothing, even though they control the rent, the leases and everything else. But it's all about getting that money out of you and keeping you piss poor and never ever reaching their echelons. Again, look at this, look. See the panels? Watch this, look. See the 3, 6, 9 panels with the sun hieroglyph, and then you've got this one here, what tells me, obviously, you've got the Masonic police band, yeah? It's a hotel owned by Freemasons. Again, you've got the sun hieroglyph, but this is the red one. But look, can you see the 3 circles, look? See, look. Oh, watch, look. First of all, you've got 4 square, yeah? 3 times, yeah? So it's 6, 6, 6, okay? That's your 4 square, look. Tells me it's Freemasons straight away. Then you've got your 3 circles, look. There's your 1 circle, there's your 2 circle, and this is your 3 circle. It's just been condensed, and then obviously you got your square and Cumpiss here up and above, but it's 4 square again, you see. But that's all it is, 3 times, of course, look. 1, 2, 3, then you get 3, 6, 6, 6, 6, see, so that's 6 or 6, 6, 6, 6, hacking 6, 6, 6 all the time, you see, and they just can't stop themselves, you know. Look at that Masonic floor, how wonderful. I think it's great, you know, how they do it, because the more they show us their power, because they built all this, that's all in, that's why it's in there, it's all encrypted in the windows, above the doors, you know, they own it all. There's nothing we don't own, but they'll plead poverty. We ain't got enough money, we can't help you. Do you know what I mean? Look, it's above all the doors. Look, each door has 6 panels. You got the sun hieroglyph above. You know what I mean? What does it tell you? It tells you it's Masonic because of the 6 and their god Ra. You know, look, the 3 pyramids here, look, you see the 3, it's called the triple tri coffee, look, see, but that'll be run by a Freemason, someone will have his business, that'll be a Freemason business, you know. Thank you very much, have a great day, sir. And then you've got your Masonic little pots, look, what you'll see in all their graveyards, you know, they take the wealth to the grave, mate, you know what I mean, it's just passed on, look, you see it all. What are they doing? Let's find out. See, look, see the sun hieroglyphs, look. What are you doing there? Is that just cleaning them, do you? Oh, alright, thank you. So again, above the door, it gives the ranking, look. See above this door, look. See what I'm saying, look? 6, 6, and then the middle one is 6, you see? Then you've got your 3 9s, 999 as above, so below, but there's no sun hieroglyph in it, you see? So it's a different ranking to the person that lives there, do you see what I mean? And that's what it's all about. Like this one, sun hieroglyph, this one hasn't got sun hieroglyph, you see? They're all different. That one has pyramids, look, gives a different rank. He's also got the symbolism in the middle. What that is I don't know, and I'm not going to even bother going over there, you know what I mean, because I'm a lazy bugger. Oh. And then you got this here, look, right there, and then you got your 33 degrees, look, in the sun hieroglyph, but again 6 panels on the door, look, you see it's all 6s. Doesn't matter where you are, where you go, those little Freemasons are there. This one has a golden lion on it, yeah, so it's very important, I would put it to them. And then above the door, look, you've got 6, a different rank again. See, they just change their ranks all the time. But if you don't know what that understand it, or what it means, what are you going to do? How are you going to tell? Do you know what I mean? You don't know what's there, you don't know anything. No one does. You see what I mean? They understand it. They know what it means. You ain't, you're profane. You're getting buggered all off these people. Now again, I've been showing you the sun hieroglyph, but let me just show you another rank, how they do it, okay? How they rank themselves, right? Now look at the sun hieroglyph, look. Can you see it, look? The sun hieroglyph with them little fans that go around, look. See it, look? There's a little fan and then there's 2 stripes, okay? Now look at this one. This one has none, look. You see? It just has the little configuration. See the 2 difference between the 2, look? The difference between that one and that one. See it, look? That's the big difference of the ranks between that person and this person, the Grand Masters. Where is he? See the Grand Master, you see? That's the difference. That one's like a cobweb, isn't it? See? This one has nothing, because he's only a peasant in the Freemason order. And then you got this one, because he's right important. He has the pyramid, he has the jacket and boaz, he has the cobwebs, you see what I mean, plus the 2 stripes above the cobwebs, you see. And he also has in the corner, I believe, look, like 2 circles and 2 cherries, look, you see, 2 cherries or something like that. And that's what it's about. That marks him as a top of the range Freemason, you see, where you can get bummed any time at any point if you knock on the door, you know what I mean. Their bum stretching knows no bounds. Now again, I've shown you the different ranks, yeah, and I'll just give you another idea on their ranks, yeah. Again, look at the difference, look, you see, it's like a cobweb, okay. Now look at that one over there. That one has cobwebs in the inner circle, and it has cobwebs in the outer circle. You see the difference? Yeah. Also notice that the inner circle is big, while the inner circle on this one, look, is small. See? You get it? And that's the difference between just how slight and how subtle that is between the different symbols between each and everything. Now here's another one that I'll give you, right? Smaller, small on the inside. Obviously I've shown you that. And it has more, that one's got 3, that's got 6. That one has 7 in it, 2, 4, 6, 8. That has 8 stripes, yeah? That's got 8 stripes going through it. See, that's 8, look. 2, 4, 6, 8. That one has 2, 4, 6, you see? So that's how subtle it is, just to tell you the different ranks of the different houses. But again, I'll show you another couple of different ranks. This one, yeah, look at the columns, look. The columns are running straight down, yeah. This one on both sides, okay, and it's flat. This one again, look, it has the spider web effect on the 2 outers. But now look at this one, look. It has squares underneath, look. You see it? You see that? And that's got the little trims, look, going across. I can let that go past. You see how different that one is compared to that one? And that's what you're looking for in society. And again, this one has 2 columns to the right and 2 columns to the left. So again, because it has more decoration, yeah, and more fanfare, it's a more important Freemason that lives there. See it, look? See, it has us, it's on the square. The sun is on the squares, look, 5 squares. See, that has no squares, so that's more of a peasant Freemason, you see. And that's the importance and how slight their ranking system is. And again, you know, you can go on the, you know, and that ain't just as simple as that. Like this one here is 13, look. What's that got? It's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 stripes in it. 4, 6, 8, 9. See, that's got 9 stripes. Yeah, 9 stripes, you see. So it just goes to show you, again, this one's got the double fanfares, look. That one, and a bigger circle, but this one hasn't, you see. And that's the difference between all of it, and that's how slight that is within society. Yeah, dependent, again, like I said, these little things here, whatever they call it, you know, the little Masonic urns, tell you how much power they have. That's more than likely a Masonic seagull sacrificed and impaled himself on that spike. You know what I mean? Just to get out of the Freemason nation of corruption, you know what I mean? But there you go, you know, and that's how slight and how subtle they are with everything. I mean, look at these two here, right? It's another changeover, look. See, so you got that one over there. Right there, my profane friends. You know me, I don't like to run around. I just take it easy. I have a bit of a Cadbury's caramel and I have a lovely time, you know. But look at this. This is another different type of ranking. Now look at this. How much rank do you think this guy has to the ones I've shown you? If I can show you. See the two white jacket and bows. Again, they're different designs, the jacket and the bow has. But look at the design in the how ornate that is, look. You see how ornate that is, look? See that? And it's double stripes, look. You see, double stripes for the sun and the moon, look. You see. So how ornate do you think that is? Cellos and bows or whatever. But again, here, look, the next door. Let's go to next door. I'll just show you. You know what I mean? Because they're tricky little freak at the hards. This one. Again, look, it's got 2 columns, yeah. It's got the points within the circle on both sides, yeah. Above that, you've got the 2. Look, you can see it. Look, the points. It's got the 2 diamonds, yeah, on either side. So you know, you tell me, and it's got the 3 squares, circles, look, that make the square, yeah. And it's what is it? It's a fucking casino. What a surprise! But that's what you're dealing with, you know. That's what, you know, the different ranks of the different systems and what you got. So it's just not a simple, oh, there's the sun hieroglyph. You know what I mean? It's the sun hieroglyph, yeah, that has a rank and a denomination of the power and the wealth of that person that controls that town and city. Like these, they got no, like these ones here, look. You see, we're getting to the, like, the peasant area, it's away from the town, and now they're not getting any of the old fanfare, and these have got, like, these would be the weaponized Freemasons maybe, because they got the arrows, the spears and the pineal gland, you know, all of that. But that's what it's about, you know. See, amazing, isn't it? Amazing the way they do it, but people don't see it. Like this one here, look, that's completely different, no fanfare, but it's got the 3 circles, look. But what that represents really, because it's there, is 3 circles above, 3 circles below, which is the 6 points. And I could go on and on and on, you know what I mean? And there you go. And then what do we see? Another Masonic church decimated by Freemasons. There's the royals, look. You see they got that, you see the 3 royals there? But what's above their heads, look? You see that all-seeing eye, look, with a pyramid. See, always the royal, it's always the pyramid, and there you are, look, you've got your 3 Freemasons here, look, honoured. They're not profane, of course they're not, they only honour their own, you know. And look at the windows, look, you see the windows, look, that's 5 circles, look, and it's 2, 3, 2. And how many times is it? I don't know, you'll have to count it. Come to the city, have a look, see the corruption, you know what I mean. Even these, look, are little square and compasses. They're little square and compasses, you can see the square and compasses, look, see? Again, denoting the rank of this person. Look, he's put a ruddy great circle in the window, look. See? My profane babies. You know what I mean? But they've perverted every town and city. There ain't nowhere they don't run or own. I mean, what do you think owns that? That real estate there, that real estate there. It's built into everything. See what I mean? Anyway, like I said, we don't understand their ranks, we don't know what they're doing, what they're up to, and like I said, this here, look, is being worked on, yeah, for instance. What's going on in the middle? What is happening in there? Is it being reinforced? Is it armaments being put in there late at night while you're all sleeping? Guns, ammunition, food, water and supplies, and strengthening their positions of power. So if there is ever a peasant revolt, they can squish it down within minutes. Do you see what I mean? And that's what they've done over the decades and the centuries since the war. They've been building tunnels, making sure no one can ever attack them or take them away from the positions of powers that they've attained over the years. You know? Again, another monstrosity, another Freemason. Look, if you look, he's standing on the circle, yeah. That is sitting on the square. Look, you see, so it's circles, squares, and obviously he's on a pyramid, and that's what that monstrosity is there. It's just another Masonic, you know, heraldry to the profane person that owns this turf. You know, my power amongst the neighbourhood knows no bounds. And again, look, we're seeing plenty of Freemason pyramids. Look what they own. Notice each section. Look at all that profane power, all owned by them. The wealth knows no bounds. And then finally we come up to here and look at this. What a monstrosity. They know that's 666, that 4 square. Look, and the point within the square. They know it's 4 square, and it's all to do with Lucifer. But I ain't gonna ever brag that to you. You're too profane. Look, that's 4 square. Look, square and Cumpiss once, square and Cumpiss twice, square and Cumpiss 3 times, square and Cumpiss 4 times, because it's 666, and the last one is their Masonic number, the magic 9. But you put 2 together, look, you get the square and Cumpiss. You see, that's what it is. It's more likely one of their banks or something as usual. And you got your, oh, the way they've done that on each column, look, because you can get 7 columns and all that bollocks. But above, look, you see the suns and the moons there. See the hieroglyph of the all-seeing eye. Little perverts, you know what I mean? Oh, look at this. You couldn't get better than this, could you? You know, oh, look at that. Look, there's the royal emblem, look, within the pit of 3. Look at the 3 windows, look, 666. You got your big, massive pyramid, yeah? And then what you got on them gates? My God, look at this. What is it on these gates? I don't know. I think it's something dodgy, innit? What is it on them gates? Is that the point within the square? Is it 4 pyramids? Or is it possibly the square and Cumpiss? Not just them big ones with the point within the circle. I'm on about these ones as well, my profane friends. The square and Cumpiss rules and dominates over anyone and everyone. See all them pyramids on there? Look, the windows are 666. Look, 666. You know what I mean? All them pyramids going across there. Again, another Freemason honoured, whoever he may be. Oh, it's bloody Royal Bank of Scotland. They explain it all, don't it? The Royal Bank of perverse. They only lend money to the people that are important within towns and cities, and they got to belong to the Masonic Lodge. And if you don't belong in the Masonic Lodge, you ain't getting nothing. That's the square and Cumpiss right there. Look. Square, Cumpiss. That's what that means. It's also the fleur de pis. Look. Fleur de pis, fleur de pis. 3 on that side, 3 on that side. 33 degrees. You see. All these little square and Cumpiss. We own it. You don't, and you never have. But they'll plead poverty. You know what I mean? They'll plead poverty. They don't own jack shit when they own it all, and they know they fucking do. You know what I mean? You'll never get nothing. Look at them. Look there. Look at that. How many pyramids and gods, you know, and their little silly little urns and their heads. Look. See them heads? Look. They're Lucifer's heads. Look. You see, hanging over, watching down at the profane. I mean, look at the 3 arches. Look. The 3 arches. You know what I mean? Look at the windows. Fucking unreal. Look at them pyramids, look. See, 3 of. You know what I mean? It's all Masonic. Look, what do you reckon that is? I don't know. What do you reckon that is? Masonically owned. What is that? Masonically owned something, whatever that is. Hotel, possibly? I don't know. The Spence. But there you go. What do I know, my profane friends? I'm just a profane peasant. And here we go again, look. Who owns this? The Edinburgh Grand. Shut them gates. What do you end up with? Square and Cumpiss. Points within circles. 4 pyramids, you see. Let's do it this way, actually. You might be able to just get a better picture of it that way, look. See See, look, square and Cumpiss. Silly little Freemasons. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, they got the pedo swirl. Oh look, yeah, nothing wrong with that, you know. It's all a lie. It's all a conspiracy. Don't talk shit. You know what I mean? But you go ask the Freemasons and put that all in front of their faces. Why is that 666? Why is this, that? And all they do is deny it, deny. What does pack mean? That's on there, look, pack. Look, pack. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. You've got the Masonic silly little archers. You know what I mean? Oh. There you go. Sourdough pizza, eh? How wonderful. Anyway, there you go, my profane friends. You know, you see the X on them 3 windows, and it's 666, and then above them you got the circle, look, see it, look, and it's P, the PX, look, which is the skull and bones, look, you see? It's a circle, look, and then on that one, look, imitate Hess and set. What's on the other one, look? Oh, there's the square and Cumpiss A, look. When you see that square and Cumpiss A, you know exactly who's running this place. See what I mean? Knights Templar, look it up, that P and X, P through an X, just put that. It's the square, that is representing the skull and the bones, you see? And that's imitate Hess and set, their god. And there's the Masonic A, look, and it's in the Arcacia. And then underneath, look, you've got your 3 X's for shh, the snake god, see? Fucking hell, man, I can't believe it. That square and Cumpiss. 3 circles make a square. I tell you, mate, you know what I mean? They run all this real estate, but you talk to them. I was in the 1900s, look. That was put up, look, 1900s with the pyramid, look, and the pyramid right on top of the pyramid, look, you see? How much wealth do you think they own? Now they own this, like, you know what I mean? They own all of this, and all of that over there is all owned by them. So how much wealth do you think, with all these circles and squares and pyramids, how much wealth do you think they're giving to you? They leave you on the street like this little gentleman here. Shit, I've got no money on me. I'm gutted. I've got no money on me, mate. I'm really sorry. That's what I was just looking for. I know, yeah. I've got nothing on me. I didn't bring any out. I just done graveyards today, mate. Alright, mate. I'm gutted, you know what I mean? See, I could give him some food. He's just sitting there with a cup, do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying, that's the difference, yeah? You think these people here couldn't put him in a hotel room or feed him? Yeah, let me just show you, because he's looking the other way. See, look. See, and all he wanted was a McDonald's. In fact, McDonald's should give half their food. Oh, fuck. Well, I know it's crap anyway, but that would feed people, wouldn't it? Do you see what I mean? But it shows you the wealth they've got. All this real estate, all the wealth, all that, you know, the burgers that McDonald's, the money that McDonald's make, you think you give them a free burger when you look. See, look at the symbolism, look. They own it all, and whether they give to people, fuck all, do you know what I mean? They own all of this, you see what I mean? The castles, the monuments, that's all done and through slavery, do you know what I mean? That's funny. Look at them girls, look. The hell they were dressed, I don't know what's going on there, like, I think they're emus or something, emos or whatever. But that's what we're dealing with. Parasitic Freemasons that'll never give anyone anything ever. You know, another hotel owned by them, look, pyramids, squares and circles and world domination balls, look. See that point within that dome, look, it's a circle, a point within that circle. Circles, squares and pyramids, and once you know it, once you see it, you can never take it away, and that's the great thing about it. Anyway, my profane friends, I'm now gone. Remember, I love you all.